Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary. I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay, this time featuring MrFrozen in the bottom left corner playing the red Terran, and in the top right we have Nickyboy, your blue Zerg. We are on Condemned Ridge, one of the newer maps in the ladder pool. Both players are in Masters, so we're going to see Condemned Ridge's aspects really coming heavily into play whenever we have some of those engagements. Condemned Ridge is really, I love this map. It's so cool because you have this huge open area. You can't even cover it all in one screen, separating the natural to the third, and you've got these little trees in the middle, so you have some awesome opportunities to get surrounds when you're playing Zerg, and also to kind of tuck your tanks away in the corners when you're playing Terran. And then you also have this nice little ridge over the third, making it a little bit more exposed because the distance between the third and the natural is so small. Look at that, the ramp minerals. It's really tight, but then the ledge up here makes it so these mineral lines, and especially the Vespene geysers, really exposed and a little bit more easy to harass that area since the distance is so small. A little expanse by air separates the 2/3 from the different spawning pools. It looks like it's going to be a full cross spawn spawning point, I don't know, starting for MrFrozen versus Nickyboy. Nickyboy sending his Overlord out, no scouting drone just yet, just now leaving the base. Actually, it looks like it's going to be securing a hatchery first over the pool. Totally normal just because of the size of the map. Barracks going down for MrFrozen, playing it a little bit more conservatively, but you kind of have to whenever you're against the Zerg. Hatchery coming up. I expect the pool to follow very shortly. But for now, he's just mainlining drones. Still no scout out of Nickyboy besides the Overlord, which knows that they're not close by air. So he'll be poking down in the correct direction, eventually running into the SCV for MrFrozen, which also, ironically, or I don't know, it's not ironically, scouted out the same location. There goes the spawning pool. Expect to see a gas any minute now. Gas is coming out for MrFrozen. He's going to start working that only with two SCVs on it right now. This is just a good sign for a normally I would say it's because the guy didn't know that he put two on it, but because he's in Masters, what it means is he's got this timing so tight that he knows exactly how many tech labs to throw onto his barracks, how many engineering bays he needs to build or add-ons he needs to his factory. And he only needs two guys mining because the timing is just down. I expect to see some really cool timings. Nice at timing attack out of the Terran with combat shields and stem, maybe +1, maybe Hellions with blue flame instead. It'll be interesting to see how it transpires. Still no gas out of MrFrozen or Nickyboy. So no Zergling speed. It looks like he's going to be playing a little bit more passive than normal. You need that Zergling speed if you're going to do anything on the map. Just because, like I said, the expanses are so huge that the surrounds that you can get on with the Zergling speed are pretty key. Especially the ability to get on the front door before they're expecting it. You can see how wide open the front door is down in the natural with that CC being built for MrFrozen. Factory and barracks coming up for MrFrozen. Still no add-ons, so that gas is beginning to climb. But maybe we'll see an add-on be added to the barracks, then switched over for the factory. It could be that that gas is being saved up for something further down the line. We don't see an engineering bay out of the way with that 1-1 on the way. Nothing like that. No shenanigans. It's good. It's gonna be good. Here we go. 2 gas for Nickyboy. Is he getting anyone down in the natural? He is not. So finally going to start on that gas production. Start teching up higher as he has that 2nd and 3rd and 4th queen out. Going to be creeping a little bit of pressure from the 4 Marines on the front door, but with so many queens out, there's not a lot that those Marines can do except for make their presence known and kind of confine Nickyboy to the 2 bases until he has that Zergling speed out, and then maybe he can think about getting a 3rd. Visors 3 and 4 coming up for Nickyboy, kicking that production of gas into high gear. Still no higher tech besides that pool out just yet. Maybe we'll see some banelings if we can see the Marine production continue on. The factory is still without an add-on, so these Hellions are just going to be there to kind of support a Marine push against these against the Zerglings. They chew up Zerglings so much, but without a reactor on the factory, I don't think it's going to be like a straight-on Hellion harassment. The tech lab is on the barracks, and it is researching STEM, which is totally just, it's a good call. You need it. Once this tech lab finishes, I expect either we'll see some Marauders, which is unlikely because there's not a lot of roaches, even though we have a bunch of gas. That could be what Nickyboy is heading towards, but in all likelihood, the secondary tech lab is going to be used to create combat shields. Still don't have quite the amount of gas necessary for that yet, but we'll see it any minute now. 2 Evo chambers and the metabolic boost being started. We can see the gas count is going sky high. It looks like it's going to be a Ling Bangling play. I mean, a Ling Infester play for Nickyboy. Still no roaches on the field, and he's tanking that gas. He's getting that Zergling melee attack, the 1/1 for the Zerglings, as well as the metabolic boost, and he's saving all the extra gas for when that Infester pit pops. The other play that we could expect to see is the Spire, and the Spire would be a great call on this map. It's such a big map, and it favors having multiple expansions. And those multiple expansions can really favor the Mutalisks because they can pop around between those mineral lines. There's the Infester pit, so it does appear that that's what the extra gas is going to be spent on with the 4 incoming geysers. That's going to be an awful lot of gas, but speaking of incoming, we can see a huge swell of really well-timed Marines. This is that timing I was talking about. The 1 ground, combat shields, and stim are all going to finish within a couple of seconds of each other. And then with these 5 Hellions at the front door, they're really going to be able to do quite a lot of damage. The Queens in and of themselves is not enough. There are some misplaced Zerglings. It looks like they're going to poke at the front door, but that should be. It is not up. The supply depot is down. Will MrFrozen be watching close enough? No, those Zerglings get in before that depot gets raised, and only a handful of Marines are not going to be enough to clean up the Zerglings just absolutely devastating the harvester count. The supply depot is raised. These guys don't make it in. Maybe sacrificing these guys just to protect the other probe line down in the bottom. 38. They were neck and neck in harvester count before this attack, and now we can see that 15 of them have fallen. Huge resources loss advantage for Nickyboy, but it looks like MrFrozen is not pulling his guys back. He's going to go and attack the 3rd. The engineering bay goes down, but that upgrade has already finished. The upgrades are finishing up for MrFrozen, but the amount of Zerglings now are kind of stunted. They're in that natural, and they can't really expect to break up into the 3rd. What is important to realize is that so many of those supply depots were taken down, which form that wall, that MrFrozen is very supply blocked. He's severely supply blocked. And so he's going to have to wait until his army gets whittled down or more of these supply depots get created in order to reinforce his home base. Queens, we can see some infestors are on the way with pathogen glands. They'll have enough to fungal growth, and with no medevacs on the field, these Marines, which have stemmed, will all die from a single fungal growth. There goes the second. Oh, no, it's 2 fungal growths because they have the, combat shields. So all those Marines died, just 2 Hellions and a Marine remaining. Some nice control there from the Hellion. It looks like some of the Zerglings have made it into the base, succeeding in lowering the depots for some reason. I don't know if they just baited MrFrozen, but they've made it in. A couple of them have survived. They burrowed down by the mineral line. That's going to cause him an awful lot of problems later on. Still doesn't have... Oh, he also burrowed a Zergling underneath the SCV, or the orbital command, so it can't lower. You can see the huge difference in supply. The attack from MrFrozen was very successful in and of that. It killed a lot of the Queens, and it destroyed the 3rd, but it was not successful in the fact that it didn't really stunt the harvester count for Nickyboy, which is really what you want. And then you also have these Zerglings inside the base to worry about. There is a nice sizable standing army, but they're misplaced, and these Zerglings are really just going to go to town on these SCVs. Burrowing once again. One of them splits off from the group so that a single scan isn't going to be enough to take them all down, because each one of those scans is 300 minerals, and with MrFrozen so far behind each one of those 300 minerals, those mules are going to be absolutely priceless. He needs to get back in this game. He needs to make a lot of SCVs. He needs to not get supply blocked like he just was for just a couple of seconds. Not the biggest deal in the world. And he also needs to worry about these infestors, because once this build kicks into high gear, it's going to be very difficult for MrFrozen to get back. His infrastructure is pretty solid, but he's just missing on the harvester count. SCVs again falling to the superiorly upgraded Zerglings. Now a scan goes down. This guy, he's not going to go down. He kites right away, hides. It looks like Nickyboy is taking a fourth as well, but a small amount of pressure for MrFrozen. He's just basically throwing everything he has against him. I think this army's going to be more than a match for these Zerglings, but probably not the infestors. Chain Fungals going down on the kind of overextended Medivacs. They're going to go down. Oh, but lots of the infestors getting kind of taken off guard by the Zerglings not pushing in. So many of those infestors have gone down, 4 of them. But with just Marines and no Medivacs now, the infestors, yeah, MrFrozen, realizing that that was game, he took way too big of a hit from that Zergling run by, and it was because the supply depot was down here and it got in the natural, and then the supply depot was down here and it got into the main. Terrible. Oh, that was just all, like, the damage was awful, not the gameplay. MrFrozen did a hell of a lot of damage in that attack with the Hellions and the Marines, and the timing was spot on. You could see that the one ground, the combat shields, and the stem all finished, and they're incredibly powerful. It was just the fact that the infestors popped out at right moment, took down all the clumped up Marines. He didn't know that those infestors were coming out. So he had them all clumped up to protect himself against the Zerglings, but the infestors came out at just the right time. If they had waited a couple more seconds, all those drones which were hiding up here would have gone down to those Marines. And then the damage, the economic damage from those Zerglings were just huge. And there's not a lot you can do about that except for keep your supply depots up, I guess. And yeah. Hey, I appreciate you guys watching my video. If you have something to say, you could leave me a comment, or if you have a game you want me to cast, you could PM me here or on Reddit. One way or another, I will see you guys later. I am Big and Scary.